I had a technician who was assembling a scooter. I walked by him in the warehouse, he's assembling a scooter, and I said, "Hey Anthony," I was like, "I'm putting somebody's baby girl on that scooter." Doesn't that give his job a lot more purpose? Right? Like, he's not just assembling a scooter. You assemble a scooter at somebody else's dealership. When you come to New Scooters for Less, you ensure the safety of somebody's daughter, somebody's son. And I said that knowing that he had 4 girls at home, right? But he has completely bought into what we're doing. Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 16th, 7:03 a.m. Of course, got to start my Tuesday morning off with a workout. It's part of the routine on Tuesdays. Today is going to be a long day. We got meetings, we got interviews, and I'm speaking tonight at Startup Talks down at Infinity Hall. So it's going to be a long day, but a fun one. And tomorrow is my birthday. So gear up and get ready. So I'm turning 35. Inspire a bunch of people.
Crush it, man.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Eve.
Yeah.
So, Quan from Starter Space is doing Startup Talks where he has partnered up with Mitch Glazer. He asked me to come in and do a little fireside chat, which I think they do. I think they live stream it too. Maybe YouTube Live. You know, I like it. I like going in, talking. If there's anybody that I might be able to provide a little bit of value to in the startup world, I like to be able to help where I can. And that's pretty much it.
All right, everybody. So I'm excited to introduce 2 great entrepreneurs that we're lucky to have here in Gainesville. Really a shining light to what Gainesville is and the entrepreneurial community that we have. Our moderator, Mitch Glazer, and our guest, Colin Austin.
What are some of the key things that people would need to think about before they get into a partnership with someone?
Definitely, like I said, the clarity of the vision is super important. I don't really think just in partnerships, but just in business in general, you know, what's your mission? What's the vision? Like, what's this company look like 10, 20 years from now? And what are the values that you're not gonna, you know, get away from? Like,
right.
They're stone, they're rock solid. What are those values? And I think those are important before you really start venturing off in a partnership. And the expectations,
yeah.
Right? I think when it comes to partnerships, what's important to know, and especially like, you know, a BE last month and stuff, you know, from Fracture,
yeah.
Just for the people who weren't here last month, you know, they have different strengths, right?
Right.
I think that's so important in a partnership.
Yeah.
You know, having opposite strengths. If you have the same strengths, then, you know, there's not a ton of benefit there.
Yeah, you can
but having
step on
opposite
each other,
strengths
right.
can really, really help.
Well, one of the things that I know for my company's been very valuable is actually an exit strategy, because then it just kind of secures a place where you know that if things go in different directions, you actually have a jump off point. And that's kind of prescribed on the front end versus halfway into it and you kind of get the personalities of you're taking advantage of me because you have resources and I don't, or that would be the worst case scenario.
I think that's great advice because,
yeah.
I mean, life happens.
Right.
Right? I mean, I wasn't married at the time, but even just being married, having kids could change, you know, priorities
Right.
Maybe the business isn't the priority anymore. Maybe the family is, and that can obviously leave a bad taste in a partner's mouth. Maybe
Right.
so.
But I've definitely seen partnerships that work out the best when they have that strategy up front.
Oh yeah.
And it's just clearly articulated what the jump off would be for one partner or the other. So,
Absolutely.
how many employees do you have?
We're at about 24 right now.
You have 24 families to feed off one company. That's just amazing to me. I mean, that's just incredible. And you should be so proud. That's unbelievable.
I'm super proud of them. I mean, I think, when we talk about culture is always about the people, right?
Right.
Yeah, we've established values and we like hire and fire by those values, but it's always going to be, culture's always going to be established by the people that you bring into the organization.
Right.
And so we're always looking for the great attitudes, just the positive, optimistic people in life, because they bring that into your business and it just radiates from the business. Like me as a CEO, as the leader of the organization, it's my responsibility to just make sure that they're taken care of, right? If I make sure that the team is taken care of, then they're going to make sure that the customers are taken care of.
Right.
And that's how the culture gets established, is by them.
Right.
There's so many more resources available today than what I had in 2004. In 2004 when I started the business, I felt literally on my own. Like I had to figure out, what do I need an occupational license? What is it? I had to figure out all the things that I needed on my own, and there was no guidance. And I feel like today, the city of Gainesville has done a much better job of having a point person, people that you can go and talk to and get that guidance that's necessary. Plus, we have all the resources like this. We have a community of other businesses and other business owners that you can absolutely reach out to that are, more than willing to offer some guidance, which is something that didn't exist 13 years ago either.
Right.
I've always questioned how do you use Snapchat as a business to reach out, and you gave an example, but if you could give other examples of how interactions that you've had with customers specifically on Snapchat to help your business.
I think with any social media, it's about the engagement, right? So if somebody comments on one of our videos, I respond. If somebody asks me a question on Snapchat, I respond. If it's an Instagram direct messenger, I respond. And that's how you really start to build those relationships. For example, on Snapchat, one of the things that I do is every time I sell a scooter, we literally go through a check sheet with the customer, right? So we're teaching them everything about their scooter, what they need to know. I walk up to the customer and I said, hey, I'm the founder of the company. This is my organization. This is my personal Snapchat code. It has all my social media contact information on the back. But if you ever need anything, hold on to this, scan it, and you can reach out to me directly. All right, this is coming from the person who founded the company. All right, I'm not too big for anybody. I will help any customer who reaches out to me. And I've had people, pull this out and contact me at 10 o'clock at night on a Friday, broken down on their scooter at 10 o'clock at night. That's a situation that's not fun to be in as a customer or as a business owner, right? But what's different and where we provide the UCE, that ultimate customer experience, is I respond. And I helped that young lady get her scooter started 10 o'clock at night, and she got home safely. And that was the only thing that was important in that moment, right? But is there any, I don't know if there's any short-term value in that besides the fact that she got home safely. I'm not trying to monetize that, but I can guarantee you that she shares that experience with somebody. That somebody, when she shares that experience, maybe, just maybe, that'll come back around in future business. But
what advice would you give to young Colin 13 years ago sitting at the bus stop, and would you listen?
Sitting at the bus stop?
Yeah, having your idea, what advice would you give to him?
Good question. I would tell him, one, you're doing the right thing by starting a scooter dealership. I'm proud of you. Good job, Colin. But you need to study up on leadership, and I think when I look back, obviously I think we all evolve. When you're in this position, you're going to evolve as a leader. You're going to learn, and you're going to get better. I mean, we're all human. One of my biggest weaknesses, I would say, over the last 13 years has been that I react to a lot of situations versus responding. And what I mean by that is, like, one of our core values is to stay calm and scoot on. Right? Like, don't freak out. It's gonna be okay. Take a deep breath, analyze the situation, and soak it all in and make a very executive decision. You know, make a clear decision. I used to just, flip. Like, I'd just be like, it was just very reaction. I would just react to the situations that occurred around me. So that's the one thing I would definitely tell myself. And a lot of times when we look at those great things, like, at the end of the day, most of the situations that I've gone through that have been really, really bad, or I thought they were really bad, in the grand scheme of things, they're this big, right? Like, there's people all around us that are dying from cancer, and we have family members that are sick, or there's people that just have way bigger problems than we do in business. And so I just use that to check myself now. Like, my problems at the end of the day, no matter how bad I think they are, they're really this big.
How do you handle situations with employees that don't buy into your vision? Basically, how do you fire somebody without giving them backlash? You know what I mean?
We just have to communicate. Communication is key. So you need to sit down. Like, if it's me, like, I'm going to sit down with them, and I'm going to try to find out why they haven't bought in. I think what's interesting in that moment, you're going to find out a lot of the times it's you. Like, it's something that I'm not doing well enough, right? Like, maybe I'm not communicating to them. Maybe I'm not giving them the feedback that they need. Maybe they're not getting the constant communication from me, or whatever it is. But, like, I'm just going to talk to that person and really find out. And then, I mean, as an employer, I'm going to lay out my expectations of them, right? So I'm going to say, these are your roles and responsibilities under this position within my organization, and these are your KPIs. Like, these are your key performance indicators. Like, this is how I'm measuring your performance. And if you're not living up to these expectations, then we're going to need to sit down and talk. And that doesn't necessarily mean I fire the person either. It just means I might find a position for them that's better suited for them. But the way you really get buy-in is by earning the trust of your team. They need to know that they're safe, that they're not worried about that they're not worried about their job. Am I going to lose my job? Like, they're going to feel safe. And they want to know that they can grow within your organization, right? They want to know that there's opportunity there. Like, we get buy-in from part-time college students, right? Like, the way I do that is by saying, like, you're not just fixing scooters. I understand that you're only here for 2 years for your part of your college career, but you're literally helping us make Gainesville the scooter capital of the world, right? The way I get buy-in from employees, like, here's a great example from a technician. I had a technician who was assembling a scooter. I walked by him in the warehouse, he's assembling a scooter, and I said, "Hey, Anthony," I was like, "I'm putting somebody's baby girl on that scooter." Doesn't that give his job a lot more purpose? Right? Like, he's not just assembling a scooter. You assemble a scooter at somebody else's dealership. When you come to New Scooters for Less, you ensure the safety of somebody's daughter, somebody's son. And I said that knowing that he had 4 girls at home, right? But he has completely bought into what we're doing.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This has been awesome. Let's give Colin a big round. we look forward to having you back next month as well. And be sure to tell all your friends to come out and join us. It's been a great experience with all the folks who are coming here. Gainesville has one of the most wonderful startup environments to be able to take your ideas to market, and we're trying to expose that really organic, great, and awesome launch into this community to try to keep our great talent that's here and grow upon that so that we grow our own within. I think that's really, really critical for Gainesville to kind of be itself. And so, again, want to thank everybody for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Guys, just had a great night here at Infinity Hall. Great talk, met a lot of great people, so thanks to everybody that came out. You know, one of the things that I think I learned from doing that is that there's so much that I could talk about, man. Trying to like bring 13 years of this entrepreneurial experience into an hour talk or an hour conversation is more difficult than I thought it would be. But it was a lot of fun, and I don't know what episode we're on. I just want to know. Episode 18 out. No, episode 19 out.